Not too long ago, the music industry as we know it now was almost destroyed. In the early 2000s, the music industry faced a digital dilemma, with piracy at its peak through platforms like Napster and LimeWire. Enter the iPod in 2001, Apple's sleek device that turned the tide not just for Apple, but for the music distribution itself, marking a pivotal shift from tangible albums to digital downloads. But the legal dilemma was murky at best. Today we'll explore how Spotify and Apple Music and others further transform the soundscape, challenging traditional models and redefining the very essence of music consumption. What does the future hold for music? Quote, can someone explain to me how you can get 1 billion streams and not $1 million? Who said that?
That has to be Aristotle.
I'm showing him on screen right now, so
okay.
our viewers are already aware. What philosopher said this?
It's Plato.
You were close.
Calvin Cardozo Broadus Jr.
Whoa. I don't know who that is.
Also
Yes, you do.
Also known as Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
He's got a real name.
What's his name?
Calvin Cardozo Broadus Jr. I just fumble over that. If you're on TikTok right now, Snoop Dogg's real name is Calvin.
Cal to friends.
Cal, yeah. Or our friend Tay, valuable things should be paid for. That's what she said about our topic today.
That's groundbreaking.
Basically, we're talking about streaming today. The streaming of music, the streaming of your favorite songs, Kevin.
Okay.
Do you do that? Do you do the streaming?
Of course I do.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
Do you own a CD?
Yeah. I grew up in the 90s, so I have a nice collection at home. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
The like of that.
Brian, do you own CDs or do you stream?
I own some CDs, but I can't tell you the last time I played one.
Yeah.
I play vinyl quite a bit because I'm that kind of a jerk. So I have a robust record collection I play, but I do stream a lot of stuff also.
There are famous quotes about people online about vinyl and how it sounds better. Are you one of those guys?
I think that the speakers I have and the system I have sounds better than decent computer speakers, but I don't think it's necessarily the magic of vinyl.
No.
I think I've just built a good system.
Okay. What kind of system do you have? You have one of the
I have a
$1 billion systems?
No. I have some vintage speakers from the 70s that I bought at a thrift store that are quite good.
Uh-huh.
I have a decent power amp head thing, and I bought like a $400 turntable a few years ago. So altogether, it does sound very nice.
Okay.
I need to get a subwoofer, but it sounds good.
So when you're sitting down for 20 minutes and you have to get up and switch the side, do you feel like an asshole?
Remember how we were going to swear less in this so we could not edit it as much? Remember that?
You got him. Got him good.
Remember, this is supposed to be a conversation between musicians in a room, and this is what we say.
It's true.
In 2000,
No, I see it as exercise.
It's true.
I do some push-ups. I do some jumping jacks. I run in place a little bit.
I also feel like an asshole when it's kind of time to flip the record.
yeah, we're like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Why did I do this? I could just, cast my phone to the screen. The history behind this in 2001, as the record industry was grappling with digital piracy. Apple's iPod emerged as a groundbreaking solution for that. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Steve Jobs walked out there with the little iPod,
Right.
as big as a deck of cards.
I didn't know that was a direct response to piracy.
It was part of the solution to this issue that was popping up.
I thought we were just trying to make the Discman more.
Or the Walkman.
The Walkman.
Yeah.
The Sony Walkman.
My goal in life is to make a product that we call the product for the whole commodity, right? Like the Walkman was made by Sony, but but it was called the Walkman for every single thing.
Like Kleenex or Xerox.
Yeah. Or Kevin.
Or Band-Aid.
That didn't go anywhere.
Nope.
This device
editing that one out.
This device, introduced by Steve Jobs, not only navigated Apple out of its struggles back in the day, but also marked a significant shift towards digital music consumption.
Right, because with the iPod came the iTunes store.
Yeah, not too far after that.
Yeah.
They talked to industry heads about this debacle that they were facing. Actually, I'm going to scroll down to this one quote that came out, one of the major streaming platforms later on, which I'm probably not going to be able to find it now. But basically, the industry at the time was trying to litigate out of this problem. They were suing everybody, not just the Metallicas of the world, which came a little bit later. But yeah, I realized you can never legislate your way from piracy. This is from a current CEO of a major streaming company. So this answer was with the iPod, not the phone, TikTok. The iPod was one of the answers. Right.
I think people at the time just found the whole downloading of music so easy.
Yep.
People thought, well, if we can offer this for free and play on the moral probability, the moral problems with downloading music illegally, maybe people will pay for it and use iPods. Which, to be fair, they did for quite some time.
Yeah.
It was successful.
Yeah.
You had an iPod. Come on.
Yeah, of course I had an iPod.
You had an iPod. I had an iPod. I remember the day I bought one. I'm like, this is amazing. I have 1,000 songs in my pocket.
All right, yeah.
But now it's like, forget it. We'll get to that in a second. It also showed how digital technology, seen in 2001 as the nemesis of the record business, could actually save it. Universal, one of the biggest labels at the time, hit a peak valuation of 50. Universal Music Group, comfortably the biggest label and publisher in the world, hit a peak valuation of $54.3 billion. And in March 2021, Apple reported a market capitalization of $2 trillion. So that's how much Apple contributed to the music industry.
Wow. How much did they pay artists?
Well, we're going to get to that. Part of this was the issue of Napster. Napster first started in 1999, was a pioneering peer-to-peer file-sharing internet service. You have one of those accounts, Kevin?
Yeah.
So I can get you arrested?
I had a Napster account.
Uh-huh. I never had an Napster account.
Oh, I did.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I had Napster, and then shortly after that, LimeWire.
I was going to say, LimeWire is next up. LimeWire was shut down in 2010 due to legal issues. I wonder why.
They hit me with those ads. You wouldn't steal a car, and I was like, "You don't know me."
Why you got to judge it, bro?
Yeah, wait. I don't know. There's a lot of nice cars out there.
If it was as easy to steal a car as it was for me to download poorly labeled MP3s,
I would just have a bunch of cars.
Yeah, my garage would be full of cars. Yeah.
You can get like the architectural schematics of a car through peer-to-peer file sharing and then build one.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I would never do. But apparently streaming has been around for a very long time. Since the early 1990s, the first live video stream featured the band... What does that say? Severe Tire Damage?
What is a stream?
No, that is incorrect.
What?
I know this.
What?
That is the name of the record that was streamed by They Might Be Giants. They were the first band to stream.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I
Yes.
couldn't read that either.
Yeah, I had to zoom in. TikTok.
I know that because I'm a huge nerd and I know these things, as we've established on this show
But-
dozens of times.
Totally flashing the more you know.
So we're talking about specifically things happening on the internet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a video stream.
A video stream in 1993. You know what? I used Prodigy
Okay.
in 1993, and I was barely like computer literate. I can
Right.
type with 4 fingers now.
Okay.
Back then I typed with 1.
Wow. Most people use like all 10.
No,
No?
I'm still like not an old 10 finger typer.
Wow.
I'm about 8.
Okay.
I'm
all right.
getting to 10.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
You got time.
So June 1993, as far back as that, the first video live stream. They Might Be Giants.
Yes.
Severe Tire Damage was the name of the album.
Mm-hmm.
Only one I know is Apollo
18.
Apollo 18, which I showed to Kevin on our trip to Arizona.
Yeah.
It has that great fingertip song with like the
That's
all
what
the
I
little
showed him.
segments. Yeah,
That was
it's
a
great.
fun listen.
Yeah. I've seen them do that live a couple of times.
Really?
It's fun, yeah.
Back in September of 1995, ESPN streamed their first internet radio event covering the Seattle Mariners and the New York Yankees.
Oh, the 95 Yankees definitely won.
95 Yankees lost in the playoffs, my friend.
Whoa.
They were
I was at
not-
that game, I'm sorry.
You were at the game that in Seattle when they lost?
No, I was at the game in New York when they lost on a walk-off that like led to the series then going down.
95, they were up 2-0 in the playoffs.
Maybe it was a different year. I was there.
Yeah. They were up 2-0 and they went to Seattle and got swept in 3.
Yes, okay. No,
It was the worst moment of my life. It really was. 'Cause Don Mattingly was in the playoffs.
Finally.
And Donnie Baseball, and they blew it.
Courtesy of Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner, and the rest of the 1995 Mariners.
Very good.
Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez. Let's see who else going to do. Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
I could pull more if I really want. Jamie Moyer, I believe, was on the
You've
team.
been spending too much time in sports podcasts.
Well, that's my job.
Yeah, so streaming never really was thought of as this behemoth. It was supposed to be just like a passing trend.
Right.
Well, the quality was so bad originally. I mean, I remember streaming stuff in the late 90s, and it sounded like old AM radio. It was terrible to hear anything. So, yeah.
But it was you also had that warbly, like, sound because of the frequencies were so smashed. You couldn't hear anything.
Those were back in the days of dial-up, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We weren't getting much speed from there. Getting, like...
DSL speed?
Yeah.
I had a good 56K modem.
Whoa.
Thank you very much. Come on.
56K over here. Wow.
Back in the day, 2002, nope, we're going to talk about 2005, YouTube was created. So I didn't realize it was that soon. YouTube's only been around for less than 20 years. That's crazy. But
Feels like it's always been there.
Yeah. You ever heard of something called Justin TV?
No.
Neither have I. But it became Twitch.
Oh, okay.
And it was founded in 2006, 2007. Netflix tried to obliterate the industry with the direct mail DVD thing.
Right.
And they started in 2009 the streaming online.
Yeah.
And Blockbuster Video, which nobody that is watching this probably knows what Blockbuster Video is. But they scoffed at it. In fact, I think they even didn't... I read the story about Netflix going to Blockbuster about being bought out, and he decided not to do it. I think I got that wrong.
There's still one Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's in
Alaska.
Alaska?
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine being the last Blockbuster.
There's a documentary called The Last Blockbuster.
Wow. Is it like a tourist attraction, do you think?
I think so, yeah.
I remember going to Blockbuster and like just renting video games for the Nintendo or the PlayStation. You could do that.
You could.
It was awesome.
The iPhone was introduced in 2007.
Okay.
And that starts the incredible downfall of probably CDs and everything else, because now everything's on your phone. Humanity, really. I mean, the downfall of humanity is started then. Which leads, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that happened over the coming years. You got Facebook, HTML5. Are you familiar with HTML5?
No, I'm familiar with HTML 1 through 4 only.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know there was a 5.
Yeah,
What?
there's a 5.
What?
Well, it replaced Flash, and then that's what really helped everything that you're using today on the old computer.
Right. Okay, so Flash, Adobe Flash Player.
Apple got rid of it.
Yeah.
So many different players got rid of it. And live streaming on phones, such as Mr. TikTok and Facebook Live and YouTube Live.
The aforementioned Twitch.
Twitch. I never used Twitch.
I was watching a good friend of mine, Mike DeProspo's Twitch account a week or two ago. He was streaming a video game he was playing.
Uh-huh.
It was fun.
What video games?
I don't know. It was like some horror game, but I was heckling him in the comments, which was fun for me.
Horror game?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple.
I don't know what it was called.
Okay.
Chelsea probably knows. It's like you're just trying to survive, and there's these demons chasing you.
Okay.
Typical horror game stuff.
Sounds like every day to me.
Yeah. Well, those are your own demons.
That's true.
But did you know that there was multiple MP3 players out there? But you ever heard of a Microsoft Zune?
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
I had a Microsoft Zune.
You had a
Whoa.
Zune?
I had a Zune.
You were the guy?
You're a Zune guy.
So before I decided to go, I was the one guy.
Yeah.
Before I decided to go,
We're supposed to not be editing this so much.
did you have it through Y2K?
no,
No, it wasn't Y2K. It was 1 year there was like a leap day.
yes,
You had it for that?
no, I bought it right after that.
Oh,
It came
okay.
out.
Wow.
Forgot about that. Wow.
So you knew that they couldn't compensate a calendar for a leap day and it would crash, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try to
Well,
jump
this
on
is the
this.
reason why I put Zune in here, because they introduced the marketplace in 2009. And the marketplace, all my friends made fun of me for this, but it was you would pay for $9.99 a month. You would pay for, I think, 10 credits, and you can download whatever and keep it. You keep the song, or sometimes they even applied it to movies. And it was the first time I ever saw something like that. I'm like, this is wild. So like, all right, you're telling me I can pay, and you get like extra credits too sometimes. So I would download albums at times, and you can pay for extra ones for cheaper. That was the first time I ever saw that. Like you would get an account where you could stream whatever you wanted.
Right.
But in pure Microsoft fashion, they blew it.
You know what's crazy?
What?
That some people do this, not me. There's a program called uTorrent, and you can download uTorrent, and then some people, not me, go online and then they search like Miles Davis complete discography torrent, and it takes you to a website like the Pirate Bay or something like that, and then you just
Pirate
click.
Bay is still around?
No, I think that's gone, but there are many a replacement now, and then you just click, and then it opens it. You know, uTorrent is the client downloader, and it just downloads 10 gigabytes worth of music for free. Not me, but one could do that.
That was essentially my entire college experience, but using Napster to do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Movies, video games.
What we're saying here is that you still do it.
You wouldn't steal a car.
Well, the Zune never made it. The iPod overtook it. In fact, streaming started to become a really big thing. And a little company called Spotify that was created in 2006 started gaining popularity. And I started using Spotify probably in 2011, I would think.
As a user, I do like Spotify.
Yeah, not Apple Music. Because Apple Music then came out in, I don't know if I have that date here.
I give enough of my
2015
money
maybe
to Apple, I feel like. I'm trying to spread my money around.
If you're going to support one oligarch, you might as well support a couple, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Spotify has the market, but there are plenty of them. You've got Apple Music, you've got Tidal, you've got Pandora. You ever have Pandora?
Hey, Pandora.
No, what don't you like about Pandora?
Because you put on Fish Radio, and it's like the first one is always either sample in a jar, bounce around the room, or that's it.
Well, that's because it's music for dummies. It's not supposed to be like your pristine taste, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's all studio stuff too. So like,
you want the live stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's
yeah.
no guy in the background going like, well,
They should know that.
All 100,000 Fish fans that travel around the country to each show.
Right, making grilled cheese and tie-dye shirts and all that. Nitrous.
There's Deezer. Have you ever heard of Deezer?
Yeah.
Is that any good?
The only reason I know of Deezer is that I help a friend run his label, and we're apparently on Deezer. But I don't know what it actually is. I just know we're on there.
Well, it's a
These are
streaming
crazy
service.
times we live in.
Hey.
Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Apple Music. Those are the major players, and they're all in charge basically of the music industry now. Even though vinyl records sales have gone up and CD sales, who's buying CDs anymore? What person is buying CDs anymore? What did you say?
Nothing.
I would say the people who are buying CDs, there's two groups probably. There's the folks who are just old and stubborn,
Yeah,
right.
who still want to play CDs the old, play music the old-fashioned way. And a lot of bands, it's very expensive to press stuff on vinyl.
Yeah.
And when you go play a show, you don't like, hey, stream me on Spotify, get me 8 cents. So they want to have a physical product to sell. So I think a lot of indie bands still make CDs so they can have some merch to sell at shows.
But where are you going to play that?
So
It's a coaster. You're buying a coaster from a band.
buying a coaster.
Yeah.
So 1 year for Valentine's Day, I had a girlfriend who was into the band.
You had a girlfriend?
Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners was the name of one of her favorite bands.
Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners?
Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners.
They should have rhymed the Richie Mitch. That's all I'm just saying.
Richie Mitchie
Richie Mitch and the something with the.
and the
Continue your story, please.
the
Sorry.
6-foot ditch.
Yes.
Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners, and so I contacted. They were like, you're able to find them on Spotify.
Yep.
But they're like college kids from Colorado. And I found them on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, can you send me a CD and sign it, please?" And they did. But then I realized, well, I have to now go on the Facebook Marketplace and find a Sony Walkman, Discman.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to do. Yeah, you can't. There's nothing has my cars are now CD-less.
Yeah.
Stereos. No, it's all Bluetooth. You know.
Well, the last car we bought, Melissa's car, has a CD player in it.
Where your car is at?
2019.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It has a CD player.
We just got rid of our 2016 car that had a CD player, but
Yeah.
our new one does not have a CD player.
So I prefer. I used to prefer CDs over everything, but you can't tell the difference anymore. Personally, I can't tell the difference, and I'm not an audiophile, but I'm getting close to it. Can you tell the difference between MP3s and CDs now?
I mean, not streamed over Spotify or Apple Music, one of those that streams at a high quality. But like, if you look up on YouTube a song that's not on Apple Music or Spotify, it may sound like garbage because it's been uploaded from someone's computer.
Well, I'm really talking about the major platforms then. I'm not talking about like from Bob's website, it's going to sound like.
I was never able to tell the difference between like a WAV file, which is supposedly way bigger and better or an MP3, or an ACC, which is a thing.
The
AAC.
The difference.
You hear it in the low end sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say you can hear it in the high end too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's muted and it might sound a little bit more compressed.
Oh, wow.
So like the snare will sound like it's hitting a glass wall. That's the only way I can describe it. How would you describe that?
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's just like it's not coming through as much. You could play it a little bit louder, but then it still sounds a little distorted. That's how you kind of know.
Okay.
There was a whole period of time in the mid to late 2000s where everything was so overcompressed. Yeah, any music on the radio was just crunched down.
Yeah.
And that stuff still sounds bad to me.
You ever hear any of your own stuff on the radio?
No, I'm not successful like you are.
No.
Sorry.
I'm not that successful. I actually am.
Humble brag.
You know that thing when you're driving around in your luxury sports car and your song comes on the radio and your $100 haircut's blowing in the wind and you look at your Rolex and say, "Oh my God, I'm on the radio at 4:51."
I'm sorry.
Aren't these the lyrics of Party in the USA?
No.
No? Okay.
It's lyrics to a country song from the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
What country?
Well, I'm sorry. I thought the crowd that I was in would understand what I was saying, but
Right.
apparently I'm just super better than everyone.
Yeah.
So one time I heard my song on the radio.
Okay.
It wasn't that big of a deal. We were
Cool.
driving home.
Was it the Obama song?
It was not the Obama song.
Ah, darn.
Did you do like an Obama rap?
No.
My name is Dan, and I'm here to say I'm voting for Obama on Tuesday.
No.
No.
No. But it's crazy how compressed it comes out of the speakers.
Yeah.
That's all. That was it.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
So if you want to hear Dan's Obama rap, comment down below.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so the other thing I wanted
it's
to
actually
get
called Barack and Roll, by the way.
I wanted to get to with this is that there's a lot of beef. You know, Snoop in the beginning, when I said he said he's got 1 billion streams, and he's like, how can I not get $1 million from that?
Yeah, that would be.
But this is an industry. It's not the same thing as, you know, like dollars to cents here. We're not talking about that. We're talking like point decimal cents here. that
So
they're
yeah,
getting.
you're making less than 1/10 of a cent per stream.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to get a bunch of streams together, which I have right here, in order to make money. So, for instance, Pandora pays 0.0013 cents per stream. To make $1,000, you have to have $769,000. Excuse me, 769,000 streams. This is on page whatever. Who cares? Spotify 0.003. You have to have 303,000 streams or screams. Same thing. But surprisingly, Tidal only 76,000 streams ish, 80,000, whatever, and they pay a little bit more. The big gripe now that Spotify is one of the biggest, they've got the biggest market share, is that people don't make as much money. Yes.
So could I write like a 10-second song or a 60-second song, let's say, that's just bad,
Yeah.
upload it to Tidal, and then play it on repeat 1,000 times?
So this is why artists like Drake released albums with 25, 30 songs on it that are all much shorter now to exactly capitalize on this situation.
I get it.
And so if you press play on an album and you have 30 tracks on that album, you're getting 3 times the amount of streams if you had 10 tracks on there. So you're seeing records get longer on Spotify for this reason, but the tracks getting shorter. So
we talked about the Wolfpack Sleepify album?
No.
So to fund their, I think, first U.S. tour, the band Wolfpack released an album on Spotify of silence. It was 40 minutes of silence, and they encouraged all their fans to put it on while they were sleeping on repeat.
Oh, yeah, you've told the story before.
And they cashed out big from Spotify.
Well, they're not going to get that anymore.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, yeah.
Can't do that.
What's his name? Jack Stratton, the main guy in Wolfpack. He went on like MSNBC like Money Talks in like a suit and gave like a presentation about how bad it is. Oh, it's a really good link in the description. It's a really good thing you did.
Across all platforms, a stream must be played at least 30 seconds for the artist to receive a respective payout. But you don't just have the artist. You've got the publishing company, the record company, the lawyers, the agents,
But all of those things were there with physical sales. It's not like any new players are in there. It used to be you go to Sam Goody, you pay $16 for a CD.
Yep.
The artist is maybe getting $1 of that.
Right.
But they're still getting $1 of that. Now, to make $1, we've established how many streams you need to have. It's crazy, and they still had to pay lawyers and agents and publishing companies and all that back then.
Yeah, it's not. If you're asking me why I don't play music anymore, I would want to, be successful, and there is no business model in this. This is impossible. There's no way. You'd have to just perform for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying if you're out there performing, it's a dead end thing. It's just not for me. Like, I can't do that.
I'm dead serious. I want to do an album of 3 songs, both of them 31 seconds long. All 3 of them 31 seconds long. Get like a deal with Tidal.
Okay.
Register with Tidal.
All you gotta do is register. You can put your music out there.
Is that serious?
Absolutely, yeah.
You can put
I have stuff on Spotify for that reason.
I have extra laptops. I could just dedicate one laptop to constantly just playing that 90-second album.
I believe they have shut people down trying to do that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why?
Come on. You don't
Because
think
they're gaming the system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't think some person in the room was like, what if somebody did this?
That's exactly what I just said. And so there's they closed that.
I think so, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a loophole I think somebody figured out a long
Oh
time
man,
ago.
I just saw $signs and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, the only way I think that artists really make it nowadays is, like Dan said, live performance. And if you have a dedicated fan base who will come see you and pay you $30 for your vinyl or $30 for a T-shirt, who will support you $5 a month on Patreon to get a demo, whatever it is. Like you have to have 4 or 5 small revenue streams to make way less than you were making 25 years ago doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to work way harder now to do it.
The Patreon thing, that was interesting, if you're not familiar with what that is. So the idea behind that is if you have 1,000 loyal fans,
Right, yeah.
you can make a living off of that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
you can make over $100,000 a year. But just 1,000 fans.
Depending on how the pricing structure is, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, well, $100 each.
How many patrons do we have on Patreon?
0.
Oh, do we have Patreon?
We don't.
I run a couple of Patreons for podcasts that I produce, and people generally, a lot of people don't even download the extra stuff. Like a lot of times for a podcast, you get the main show and a bonus show.
Yeah.
Some folks just want to support the show. They like it enough, they'll pay $5 a month and don't even care about the bonus episodes. So I'm sure there are lots of artists who offer Patreon stuff that people don't even take advantage of. They just want to support the artists they enjoy.
You also could set up like a Discord channel and speak.
Yeah,
directly
exactly.
with the-
Yeah.
the content
Are we
creators.
boring you, Kevin? Do you want to leave?
I'm so tired.
Never yawn on a podcast.
Okay.
What's the matter? You really tired? You working out too
No,
much?
I just started thinking about Sleepify, and that just got me in the mood. You know?
Well, the fight still rages on who to blame for piracy. Cox Communications, and this is not just like there's so many of these out there. Cox Communications was initially ordered to pay $1 billion. That's with a B. Dollars in damages for copyright infringement over 10,000 musical works to Sony Music. Blah 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 blah. But it was thrown out.
What is
So they
Cox Communications?
Cox? What about Cox?
They
we
were
want to talk about Cox?
They were an internet provider, and
Yes.
so their users were downloading illegal stuff, and so they went after the internet provider.
So they were found liable. They didn't protect.
Yeah, but wait.
I know.
I had whatever AOL or whatever came after that. I had Optimum, and it was
America Online.
whatever it is. But like you're able
You've
to
got mail.
You've got mail.
pirate with whatever internet connection you have. Why does it fall on the ISP?
And because they're responsible for the content that's getting streamed into the household. It's like
If
that.
you're a
And plus
bar-
they have money. That's why.
If you're a bar and you overserve somebody, the bar is responsible. Even though you make your own decision, the bar is liable.
You know what?
I've been overserved many times.
Now that we mentioned this, I do remember one time seeing. I just logged into my Optimum account to just like poke around, and I do remember seeing that they had like flagged my account for
Yes.
illegally downloading Age of Empires.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I called them. I was like, "This wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was totally me." But I figured, it was
my brother, Devin.
Somebody hacked into my Wi-Fi.
There's an attorney right now taking notes
Yeah.
somewhere in the world.
Come at me, bro.
There's also antitrust fights on territory. There's the EU, which is just just clamping down on all sorts of internet freedoms and non-freedoms. Are trying to fine Apple for a bunch of stuff.
What's this net neutrality stuff?
Well, that's not the net neutrality.
Oh, it's different?
Do you know
Okay.
anything about net neutrality? You know a lot of stuff.
I know a little bit about it, yeah.
You want to talk about it? Kevin
Well,
wants
just
to
so
know.
there's this idea that the biggest corporations in the world get preferential treatment when it comes to things like search engines, and they pay different rates for hosting than if you and I want to start a website, right? And so net neutrality is supposed to make the playing field even for everybody on the internet. So there's no benefit to being a large corporation, which is sort of in the spirit of early internet. I mean, that was the great part about being on the internet in 1996. You could start a website, and it would have the same exact ability to reach people as Microsoft.com.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, we've got 249 likes right now on this TikTok live.
Yeah.
What? We're live right now on TikTok?
I've been talking to the live people.
And they're not even getting Kevin's pretty face out of this.
They've seen a lot of me, my nose hairs. There's Kevin. Say hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
And Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Well, thank you, TikTok. This is very nice. I wonder if there's a way to feed
To stream this to
this
TikTok?
beast. Yeah.
Possibly. I think you wouldn't do that to YouTube. We could do it to TikTok.
Well, it's crazy how many people are on here. Hello. Hi, Annie.
What's up, Annie? She can't even hear me.
She can't hear you.
No.
She just can hear me. She keeps liking our live. That's very nice. Please don't murder me. Well, so the bottom line here is...
That's not a good angle, Dan.
Are you watching the live?
Yeah, now I'm watching it.
That's nice.
It sucks.
The bottom line is the streaming industry has overtaken the record industry. There's over 500 million users on Spotify, out of which how many millions are actually paying, so they don't have to see the ads. But the irony is that Spotify just laid off like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Because they're monsters. But look, here's the thing.
Because they're monsters.
Wait. Sexy Sim 49 just joined the live.
Nice. No, the thing about Spotify and Apple, though, is this. Like, if you're a music fan, if you had traveled back in time and told, like, 15-year-old Brian, one day, for less than the price of a CD, you have access to all of the music in the history of the world.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It would have been shocking to me, and I would have signed up for it instantly.
Right.
And I have been able to find lots of great music on Spotify. It's the algorithm does work, but also just there are albums I read about 20 years ago that I can just quickly look up and listen to. It's a fantastic thing if you're a fan of music. The problem is it's not a fantastic thing for the makers of music. And so the ethical stance I find myself in is I have to buy physical media from people that I care about because I want them to keep making the music.
We've talked about copyright issues, I think, in some of the productions we've done here.
Yes.
And the stance that I take on that is like, if you're a successful artist, even if you're like a struggling artist, don't you want more people to hear your music? Don't you want to like build some sort of following, even if it's not paying?
Yes.
Which comes back to the dreaded question for musicians is like, are you going to play for exposure? Which sucks. Like, you don't like to do live gigs for exposure, but, like, Fish got big because they would play live and people would just bring tape recorders to the shows and share those tapes with people,
But there are ways to do all of this more ethically. The problem is the average person doesn't care about that.
Yes.
So, for instance, one of my bands just played at a bar a couple weeks ago, and the bar owner paid the bands, gave us free drinks, free food, tried to really make it a worthwhile experience for these bands to come out and play at his bar. If you could take that same approach at every level, if every venue treated their artists well, if the label wanted to treat the artists well, people just wanted to be good to people, it could all work. Maybe we're never going to have the monolithic billion-dollar artists again, but most folks just want to make a living.
Yeah.
And that is possible. People are decent about it, but people aren't always decent
They're not
about
decent about it. I don't feel bad paying my $10 a month.
Yeah.
Or is it 15? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's how little it is that we don't even know how much it costs us, and we're fine with it.
I get to share it with my daughters and my son. Like, I send them music, and then they like or don't like it, or sometimes they'll send me stuff, and I'll like it or not like it, and we end up having a conversation. It's much more accessible. It's better for the world, and it's better for the environment, Kevin.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I just threw out like hundreds of cases recently that I found
Those
cleaning out my house.
Plastic, plexiglass.
Yeah.
Jewel cases, yes.
Jewel cases, yes.
So what do you think? Do you think that the Spotifys of the world should continue on and become the behemoths that they're destined to become? Or should we go back to the vinyl days where people are laying comfortably on their chair like Brian and have to get up every 20 minutes to change the side?
Like an asshole.
You be the judge. Right, Kevin?
Right, Kevin.
All right. Well, if you don't agree with anything that just happened here, if you're on TikTok and Annie, you have liked.
Shout out to Annie.
Annie has liked this probably 1,000 times. Maybe she's the only person that's liked this. Let's see. Liked. Wow. What's happening?
Annie's having a stroke and just happens to be hitting the like button. And,
Annie, do you need help?
Annie, are you okay?
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay,
Annie? Yes, please like, subscribe, and do all the things because we love you, Mr. and Mrs. Viewer. Right, Kevin?
Very much.
See you next time.